If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement, Male Advantage ebook, or my personal workout and diet plan, all links are in the bio.
Yeah, I'm delighted with the results. Obviously, they're slightly red right now, but that's natural. But I think it's already looking like a proper decent head of hair.
Full head of hair.
Yeah, and we're only like 10 minutes after. So.
It just looks real as anything. It just mimics hair, right? So, I mean, to be honest, if I was to walk past you in the Tesco's or any kind of,
you'd ask for my number.
Yeah, of course I would.
Okay guys, I've been meaning to do this all day, to be fair. I've been travelling down to London today. I've had a real busy day as well. Just in the hotel room now, I'm absolutely shattered. But we're here for the SMP episode 3, but the treatment 2. And as you can see, it's faded quite a lot. It's still there, but I mean, I do need to shave it. If I were to shave it, it would look a lot more even. But it has faded quite a lot. Yeah, it's still there, but it's just darker here. That's the problem. I need to shave it a bit more. But there was definitely more there like a week ago or so. I think it was like 2 weeks ago now when I got it done, which is completely normal. The first session is more like a tester.
With the first procedure, what was your first thought? Like when you saw my scalp, like with your level of expertise, did you look at it and think, okay, this requires either this or that, or like how did you go through it step by step, just the first procedure?
I just wanted to suss out exactly, what your lifestyle's like. Obviously, I'd done a lot of research about you already. Your age, what your lifestyle's like, and what your expectations are. You were quite nervous on your first session, so I just wanted to take it very easy. Because as you noticed on the first session, you just about saw that hairline, right? And
I was really reluctant because I'm on camera. I thought this could end the whole channel, so that was my thinking, really. Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, I just wanted you to get used to the whole procedure, because you probably spent the week of just looking at the mirror, and then when you came in for your second session, you knew exactly what you wanted to do. We designed that hairline purposely slightly higher so we can potentially come a bit lower.
Yeah.
You can always go lower with the hairline, you can always go darker with the actual scalp. That's all doable, but it's just getting the client used to the whole procedure. Rather than, it's about just taking the baby steps and just getting that end product
that makes sense.
That we're both happy with.
To see how well like your skin responds, because your immune system fights it, and I imagine I've got a good immune system, so I guess it's been fighting it away. And I just woke up one day and I just kept looking in, like every day of the week I kept looking in the mirror and I was like, there's a little bit less, I could see gaps again. And it's, like I said, it's completely normal. After this second session, it'll be there for the next 6 years or so, which would be pretty cool. But it reminded me of going bald. It was almost like going bald twice. It was really, really weird. It like brought back all the feelings before of like, you've gone from having hair to having no hair. It was quite hard to deal with, actually. Do you know what I mean? After being bald for like 4 or 5 years, and then having hair, and then it's not being taken away, but it just like faded quite a lot. I was like, shit, I'm going bald again. Like, it was weird. I was like, have I got some weird hair that can just like resist the tattoo or whatnot? But I researched it and they said it's completely normal.
With the second session, obviously we went darker, didn't we?
Yeah.
What was your thinking behind that?
So the second session kind of brings it together. Once we injected that pigment in the first session, we saw you after about 7 to 10 days, I think it was.
About 10, yeah.
About 10 days. And I just wanted to see how that pigment settled into your skin, because obviously with your immune system, I noticed it being quite strong, right? So everyone works differently with their immune system. So we wanted to see how that pigment settled into your skin, and based on that, doing this for about 6-7 years now, I automatically know what pigment shade to use and what needle to use, but it's just about being extra careful and not overdoing it on the first session, basically. And today, the third procedure was just the icing on the cake, just making sure, we give you the full density, just layering that pigment, give that kind of 3D illusion with light and dark pigment, So when you look at it very close, as you've probably seen in the video, it just looks real as anything. It just mimics hair, right? So, I mean, to be honest, if I was to walk past you in the Tesco's or any kind of,
you'd ask for my number.
Yeah, of course I would. That I would do. But no, you'll fool my eye, and if you can fool my eye, you can pretty much fool anyone's eye, right? Just as long as you're trimming it on a regular basis. It is a commitment, you know, and obviously I'm sure you've told your viewers that it is a commitment for life. If you're quite lazy about trimming your hair or whatever, the SMP doesn't grow, the hair does grow, right? So it just, and obviously the actual hair overlaps the SMP and looks fake. Right, so you need to stay on top. That's the only commitment.
Shaving with the grain at the moment, guys, with the razor blade, and it looks so natural. Like that's probably the best. You get like 2 days out of that, as you said, 2-3 days, and that just blends it all in perfectly. That just looks so natural.
It's probably added on with the convenience as well, with what you said, right? So
yeah, that's the thing, because I was shaving my head properly when I was bald 2-3 days a week anyway, maybe 4. And as soon, when you guys who are bald will know, as soon as it grows a tiny millimeter, you just look old. It adds like 10 years to your age, straight away. Whereas with this, you get like 3-4 days out of it. So in terms of cost and maintenance, I'm saving money as well. So.
cool. So this here is the future of hair loss. Don't you agree?
Freeze frame.
Okay boys, I am back. SMP is done, as you can see. I'll do some real close-up shots in a minute so you can get like a better angle of it. But I'm glad it's over. As fun as it was seeing Jay and stuff like that, I'm tired. Really tired. I was reluctant to make this video right now actually, because I am absolutely shattered with everything that was going on, the trips down to London, the packaging of the supplements, the release of the book and packaging of that. It's like I might go down there on like a Thursday night. By the time I got back and was relaxed and rested, it was like Sunday afternoon. And then I'd have to package like 100 supplements, 100 books. It was like, this is tough. This is draining on me now, you know, all the traveling and whatever. But all in all, upon reflection, now that I'm sat here and I'm very relaxed and, you know, things have all been done and whatnot, I'm so glad I got it done. I personally think it looks fantastic. I mean, I've razor bladed it today. It's been you got to wait like 4 or 5 days until you can shower it. So I shower it and then I run the razor blade with the grain over, you know, the whole of the hair at, you know, various angles. And you kind of get like this effect, as you guys can see. And that's obviously you guys have seen me on camera a lot. That's a wild difference compared to like how it looked before, okay? And I'll bring up some before and after pictures now. And yeah, I'm delighted, but it's like, it's too soon to realize the benefit of it. Like I said, I'm really tired. I'm not thinking about it too much. It's not like I've been out to loads and loads of places. It's the first time I was able to go back in the gym today. So, you know, obviously a few people are like, they know I had it done because I told them, and they're like, your hair looks amazing, you know, whatever it is, the tattoo. But they're like, yeah, it looks really good. It's really natural. Can't tell. Like a few people have said some stuff, but for myself personally, when I'm like looking in the mirror and whatever, I'm really pleased with it. I think it's really like brought everything together. I'm delighted. I think I said this at the start. This is why I went with Jay. I think he's one of the best in the world at doing this, and certainly top 2 out of people that I've seen. There was one guy in the US and there was Jay. Personally, I think they're like the top 2 globally. So, you know, if you can't get to the US and you're around Europe, London, UK, especially London, then you got to use Jay, okay? You got to use him. I'll bring all the details up on screen. At the end, underneath in the bio, you can see all the links to go and see Jay and whatnot. You should definitely check it out, guys, if you're considering SMP. Even if it's just a phone call to have a chat and just say, I want the 1STMAN hairline. That's what we're deciding to call it. You know, if you just want to have a chat about it and just say, what would you do for me? Let me send you some pictures. How would this work? How would I look? Have you got a similar client? You know, it's just worth entertaining in the start, okay? Now, a few things that I said I wanted to discuss that, you know, as a men's lifestyle channel, it's almost an obligation to go over these sort of things, okay? So number one, has it affected my confidence? Maybe like a slight percentage that I haven't really noticed. I mean, at times where I've been, you know, I'm feeling myself. That sounds weird, doesn't it? But do you know what I mean? Where you like walk into a new venue, you walk into the gym, you know, you're making your way to somewhere and you're thinking, I've got a full head of hair. It's not on my mind all the time, but you are thinking, okay, yeah, like I've got a full head of hair on my head. Like I must look pretty good. But the other thing I've done a lot, and this is why it hasn't really affected my confidence yet. Number one, obviously my confidence was high anyway, guys, because when I went bald, I went and built the man first, and then just added the hair on like a cherry on top, so to speak. But the reason it hasn't really affected my confidence, hasn't really boosted me up yet, so to speak, you know, it might in the future. I'll obviously make some future videos on it. But it hasn't really affected it because I keep forgetting that I have hair. Okay, so like, I might be in a venue and I'll bend over to like pick something up from the floor, and I'm like, you know, subconsciously as a guy who's bald, you are thinking I'm displaying my bald head to the world, right? It's something that I couldn't escape when, like, it wasn't a fear, it wasn't like an insecurity. I just knew that I was like just displaying a bald head to the world here. You know, it's almost like a bald guy thing. And once you put your head down, it's like, oh shit, here we go. And I'll be doing that, and then I think, no, I've got hair, haven't I? I've got hair up there now. Like, it's weird. It's going to take me some getting used to first. So I think once I start realizing I've got hair, once people start saying things like, I don't know, instead of just being like, oh, but you're bald, and blah, blah, like if people just say, oh, what grade is that? What length is that? Like they start talking at you as if you've got a full head of hair and they have no idea otherwise. Then eventually that goes into like my subconscious and I just know that I have a full head of hair. Whereas I haven't been thinking like that. So I don't know whether that'll affect anything in the future, but is there an extra spring in my step? Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's coming out. I don't know. But I was always quite confident anyway. I imagine if I had got this done right away when I first went bald, would have probably boosted my confidence quite a lot, but I'm a bad example. Because me and Jay spoke about this when we first, you know, were talking about getting this done. And he said a lot of guys suffer and whatnot, and I was like, no, look, I'll be on camera, it's fine. Like, take as many pictures, videos and whatnot, whatever you need to do, let's do it, because I don't care. You know, it's a little bit unfair to judge confidence based off somebody like myself who was already confident. I was on camera like fucking 7 times a week anyway, so it didn't really matter, okay? I was doing like gym vlogs with a bald head. I'm, you know, out in public is the point I'm making there. It just didn't really bother me, okay, guys? So there's that. Now, the second part that guys want to look into is, do I think I look better? I've looked back at, you know, and this lighting is always shit for some reason. I've tried to play around with the camera before I did this, so I think it's hard to tell with this camera and this lighting. But personally, that was about 9 messages. But personally, when I've looked in the mirror, or where I've like, I've for the first time in my life, I'm taking selfies so that I can compare and stuff like that. When I'm like taking pictures of myself and whatever, and I'm looking at those pictures, I'm like, okay, that does look significantly better. I think I've shaved maybe like 5 years off the way I look, like 5 years off my age, so I think that looks better. I thought I looked good with a bald head before, but the problem with the bald head is, after like 1 or 2 days, you start getting the stubble around the outside and the big horseshoe, and you just look 5-10 years older just instantly. Within 2 days, it just doesn't look good. And that used to suck like shit, okay? But with this, I just think like I said, what I wanted to achieve when I first got this done, or when I first spoke about getting this done, is I wanted to get my youth back while I was still young. Obviously, you guys know I've recently turned 29. It's not nice to be bald when you're in your 20s, because you just think to yourself, well, like, once you turn like 24, 25, or once you go bald and you're around about that age, you just look 30 instantly. So it's like a lot of things are just kind of out of question straight away. Like certain clothing you can't wear. So going to certain types of clubs, it's like, you could do all those things, but you know, it's almost like, who's this 30, 40-year-old guy? He should have a suit on and be in, you know, And that's the other thing, like there's bonuses. If you're bald, say you work in finance, you look about 30 years old, you're probably going to make a shit ton of money, right? There's like pros and cons, but there's a lot of things that you want to do within your youth that you can't really do. You know, just like imagine being a bald guy who's drunk beyond belief. People would be like, this guy's like 35 years old, what's he doing? And I'm not saying I want to do that, but it's almost like you have to grow up overnight, which is a good thing, but at the same time, like I said, you just lose that youth. You can't really do things that other people are doing because you don't really fit in with that age group. Everyone thinks you're like 5-10 years older than what you are, okay? And like I said, when I was bald, I mastered it. I became comfortable with it. I built a great life off the back of it. I got myself in shape, down to a low percentage body fat, and every area of my life was better. I felt confident, I looked good, I was happy, but I just think the hair has made me look significantly better. I just think, like I said, it brings it all together. Jay said the same thing too. He just said, you look like 10 times better. Like I think it was at the start of the third treatment. We were like just shaving my head because I hadn't really done it properly. And he was like, you look like 10 times better than when you first walked in already, you know? And I would agree. I just think hair's such a weird thing, but it adds kind of like a structure to your brow. And it like brings all of this together. Like Jay always says it frames your face. It brings your features together. Like it's a weird thing, right? But I was kind of... Jay said you're going to look at yourself in the mirror a lot. I caught myself in the mirror today and I noticed my eyes more. I've got like quite bright green eyes. And when I was young, I used to get compliments on them all the time. Once I went bald, compliments kind of stopped, okay? But I still had the same eyes, like they didn't change. Now that there's hair there and it's framing, like my eyes just seem to be popping a little bit more. Like they seem to be brought out. And I don't know whether it's the framing, the darkness, like bringing it all together. I don't know. There's probably some logic behind that. But I noticed them for the first time in years and was like, oh, wow, yeah, I forgot I even had that feature. It's weird, right? It's almost like guys with... Once you get your like beard shaped up properly and somebody goes, you got a really good jawline. You know, when guys like shape that little bit in there with the mustache and then their lips like pop a little bit more. You know, it just looks really good. A lot of black guys do it where they get like this trimmed, they get this like all tightened up and whatnot, and their lips are just like pouting out a little bit more. It makes people look a bit sharper. Or when people get their eyebrows threaded and it just gives some like real solid shape to the brow. It's just like an added bonus, okay? And I think that's what it's done to the top of the head. Now, probably the one reason why most guys would get this done and why a lot of guys are probably watching this video is, has female attention gone up? Okay, and this is, to put it into simple terms, I was doing well with women anyway, because obviously all the work that I've put in along the way, etc. Like if you're going to earn more money and get in shape and look better, then women is going to be a natural benefit of that. It's going to come with it, right? But the main thing that I've noticed is I've probably gone from like, I was getting a lot of attention in the summer when I got really lean from like 6s and 7s, okay, and my version of 6s and 7s, so they're still like really hot. But now, like what I noticed straight after the treatment and since, women who are what I would class as like 8s and 9s are taking a glance. You know, you'll just walk along, you'll just look right, and they've been like staring at you for a couple of seconds, and you'll get a smile. Or like 6s and 7s before used to look at you, now they come and sit next to you on the train and have a conversation with you. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like everything's gone up 1 or 2 notches. I don't know whether it's the youth, whether, like I said, it brings everything together, whether it's the cherry on top of like all the hard work that I've been putting in. It's almost like, you know, you put all this foundational work in and then you just correct one single flaw and it just kind of brings it all together. I don't really know, guys. As you can tell, I'm quite uncomfortable talking about these things because I'm not that type of guy that likes talking about looks. That's one massive benefit of going bald, is it really humbles you and stops you worrying about, you know, you stop thinking you're the most important person on the planet and, you know, you're this really good looking guy. Like when you're young, you're like, I can get any girl I want. You just stop. You just don't really give a shit about that. I want to really retain that. But at the same time, you have to talk about these things, you know, because that's what this channel is, men's lifestyle. I kind of have to go into detail, but I'm not really comfortable doing it. We did some modelling pictures at the end, me and Jay. I was like, this is just not my forte. I'm not that type of bloke. But it was fun either way. It was an experience. So that was something that was different. But yeah, I think female attention has gone up in that sense. I think it's just all gone up like 1 notch. So like 6s and 7s have become 8s and 9s. I don't say 10s because they're just impossible to find. Do you know what I mean? So, but I think, put it this way, I think by the time I'm bulking at the moment. Obviously, you can see from the puffiness, like it's a bit more puffy under here and stuff. It's necessary sacrifice. I think once I finish the next bulk and cut, which should be, when it's fully done, it'll be like July, August, maybe June if I can get it done quick. And then when I'm like 90 to 95 kg, 10% body fat, couple of assets in place, which I'm going to do once I turn like 30 or around that time, which is obviously August. Yeah, then I think, with this added in and everything, and the autotropics for like another year, submental for another year, some better clothes, etc. It could be, that outlier male effects, the male advantage, where I've told you guys before, any guy can go from a 1 to a 10. I think I might get pretty close to it. Maybe not a 10. I'm talking about like all areas collectively, but I might be at my peak, if that makes sense. There's not many things to improve upon at that stage or fix at that stage. Obviously you can keep improving, but there won't be many things to kind of put right, to fix, or I need to do this year to get to this level. It might be like, you're floating around at like an 8 out of 10 on your worst day, okay? So that's the kind of vibe that I'm feeling from it. Like I said, I'm uncomfortable talking about this kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely think it's had an effect already. I definitely think I'm getting a lot more attention. Women that I haven't seen in a while that have used to know me as bold, when they see me with hair, they are a little bit like, taken back. I think they didn't realize that, maybe they thought that you were at like this level, but then when they see you with a little bit of hair, they're like, oh, actually, he's actually quite a good looking guy, or I didn't realize you had that feature, or I didn't really find you attractive before, now I do. It's a little effect like that is what I'm sensing. I could be wrong. As men, we have a mechanism where we see everything as a mating potential. It's just so that we don't miss opportunities. It could be that. I could be gassing myself up because I feel good about myself right now. I don't know, guys. I'm just putting all these different feelers out there. I'm searching for it as well, because for the purpose of a video like this, I've been like looking out for it. Like, I'm getting more looks. It could be placebo, but it definitely doesn't feel like it's placebo, okay? But I'm just trying to stay aware. I'm trying to stay updated. Not to brag or anything. I mean, I'm certainly not the best looking guy in the world. I've always told you guys that, but I have to like report these things back to you just to, see the kind of results, if you would. I think it's important to do so. As difficult as it is to explain these things, I think it is difficult, but that's been my experience, guys. I'm so glad I got it done. It was, like I said, it was slightly annoying because it's the travel, it's the hours of treatment. Obviously, the pain's it doesn't hurt until there's like, you're in the second hour, the third hour, the fourth hour. Obviously, you can take a break and whatnot, but it's that constant like drilling into your head, do you know what I mean, into your skin. And it's not like a drill, like I said, but it's just like a little prick over and over and over. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts. That's what it feels like, okay? Just constant. And you just feel a little bit zapped afterwards, or at least I did. Maybe it was because of the traveling, maybe it's because we're filming as well. It was like a lot to do, plus the stress of business. Like I wasn't really getting a day off and whatnot. So there was that element of it, and I'm glad it's done now. Obviously, I'm glad it's done because it, I now have a full head of hair. It's like that was the aim to begin with, but more so I can get back to like normal business. I can just like really get on with my life and just start getting back on camera. I'll have more time, focus on like the upcoming clothing brands and stuff like that. That's like really in action right now. I've just kicked forward with the next batch of supplements. It's like, certain things that I've just ticked this year. I've just put them in like they're in the background now. They've been ticked, job done. Let's move forwards. Like, it's fantastic. Okay, so anybody who's out there looking to get SMP, I'd say do it. Like, just if you've been bold for like 2 weeks, forget it, right? Okay, try and be bold for at least a year or two so that you grow as an individual. But then when you're ready and you think, okay, I'm confident, I've mastered this, I'm happy with who I am, I've been through a body transformation or whatever it might be, I've dealt with whatever issues there were, and you have the spare cash, okay, to actually pay for this. Like, I mean spare, not just it will leave me with 500 quid. Like, you got it spare, okay? You got like 50 grand. Doesn't even have to be that, but like 20, 30 grand, and the treatment's going to cost like maximum 4,000 or 5,000, I imagine, right, at the top end. Well, in that scenario, yeah, I would do it. I would highly recommend it, because I just think you might as well use your youth. Do you know what I mean, guys? Like, that's why I wanted to get it done. Like, I'm all about working with what you got, making the best of yourself, etc. But with things like this, it's like everybody has hair when they're young, and then it leaves us. You know, and as long as you can deal with the consequences of that, and then, you know, you go and get a treatment on top, I don't really see an issue with that. People have asked me about plastic surgery, you know, would you get a nose done and all that. It's like that. I think all that shit's too far. I just think, like, oh, I've got cheekbone implants. It's like, no, that's too far, okay? But hair, we all had hair anyway. We lost it not out of choice. Getting it replaced, it's like, I'm just restoring who I was. And that's what it very much feels like with SMP. And the treatment, the recovery is just quick. Do you know what I mean, guys? Like, as much as I said, oh, this has been difficult, all the traveling, I mean, all in all, it's like 3 weeks. One got cancelled because my train, there was a mudslide on my train when I was going down, so we had to stop it and go back. But all in all, with all the treatments and the recovery, roughly 3 weeks, maximum 4, okay? And so from start to finish, I'm done now. So it took like 30 days, okay? And I'm done. I'm now back in action. Within 2 days' time, I can sweat again in the gym. You know, that's probably the most annoying thing for me, is go like 4 days out of the gym. Like, that was probably the most annoying thing. And the travel, like just losing days, whatever. But you just think, compared to like a hair transplant that's going to cost you like 5 times more, and then also is going to take like 6 months to a year to recover. It's like, as a quick fix, there's going to, and this is how I saw SMP, is it just allows me to restore my youth quickly from 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. You know, so I get to like, how does that work out 7 years? That's weird, isn't it, guys? Years work out weird, right? 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. How is 29 to 35 7 years? That's mental, right? I still don't think that adds up. That's crazy. So I've got that in place for like a large majority now of my youth, like the early years of the male advantage, so I can really take advantage of them. I think that's worth it. I think, you know, I would take that. I think that's a very, very good deal. So any guys who are out there wondering, should I get this done and whatnot, as long as you use somebody like Jay at Elixir, you're going to be so pleased with the results. Okay, because he takes it steady. It's like the first treatment, as he said, I was a little bit worried because I'm on camera all the time. I'm like, fuck, if this goes wrong, it's going to mess up my whole shit. Everyone's going to be like, what's wrong with this guy's hair? Rather than focusing on the content. So he kind of like dots it in very lightly to begin with, gets you used to it, and then the second one a little bit more. By the third one, it's like fucking pigments between the pigments. And that's when you get like this kind of like full coverage, which really looks like hair, okay? It looks really dark now, doesn't it, guys? If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement, Male Advantage ebook, or my personal workout and diet plan, all links are in the bio.